Chosen one, stop. Do not scroll past this frequency. That exhaustion you feel deep in your bones right now, that heaviness pressing on your chest that feels like depression, you have been misdiagnosed. God redirected you here to tell you that is not the weight of defeat. That is the physical weight of glory trying to land on your life. You passed the final test. But here is the part that will stun you. You are waiting for God to simply restore you, but God is preparing to shalom you. He is not just returning what was stolen. He is calculating an overpayment so illogical, so massive, that it requires your spirit to expand just to hold it. The silence you have heard from heaven wasn't abandonment. It was the hush of the throne room before the king places the crown. Right now, I need you to do one thing. In your mind, visualize a door that you closed out of fear and disappointment. Visualize your hands unlocking it. Just open your hands in your mind, because what I am about to reveal is the classified verdict of your season, and you cannot receive a kingdom reward with a victim mindset. Are you ready to hear God's reaction? Because if you stay with me until the very last second of this video, I am going to hand you a framework called the 7 Forms of Royal Assassination. This is the exact playbook the enemy will use against you in the next 40 days to steal your crown. I will also walk you through the activation ceremony to seal your new authority. If you leave early, you are walking into a battlefield without your armor. So, settle in. This is your briefing. Let's talk about where you are right now. I know you don't feel like a winner. A winner is supposed to feel ecstatic. A winner is supposed to be celebrating. But you don't feel like celebrating. You feel numb. This is what we call trench fatigue. I want you to go back to that moment yesterday. Or maybe it was this morning. You are sitting in your car in the parking lot. The engine is off. The radio is silent. Your hands are still gripping the steering wheel, but you are just staring through the windshield at nothing. The battle is technically over. You survived the crisis. You paid the bills. You handled the conflict. But instead of relief, you feel a strange paralysis. You can't bring yourself to open the car door and walk into the house. You just sit there, suspended in time, feeling absolutely drained. That is the moment the enemy whispers to you. I know exactly what he says. He says, "Look at you. If this was really a victory, why are you so tired? If God was really pleased with you, why is it still so hard? Maybe you didn't pass. Maybe you failed, and you don't even know it. But chosen one, listen to me. That fatigue is not evidence of failure. It is proof that you poured out everything. You emptied yourself completely on the altar of obedience. We see this exact pattern in Scripture with the prophet Elijah in 1 Kings chapter 19. Most people quote the fire coming down on Mount Carmel. That was the victory. That was the public success. But they stop reading before the real test begins. Immediately after his greatest victory, Elijah didn't throw a party. He ran into the wilderness, sat down under a broom tree, and prayed that he might die. He said, "I have had enough, Lord." Think about that. He just called down fire from heaven. He just defeated the prophets of Baal. He won. But the physical and spiritual toll of carrying that much glory broke him down physically. He had trench fatigue. If you are feeling that way right now, you are in good company. You are not weak. You are just recovering from the output of power. But here is where the danger lies. When you are in that state of exhaustion, silence feels like rejection. You have been waiting for a sign, a voice, a confirmation, but heaven has been terrifyingly quiet. You have been checking your spirit for a notification from God, and there is nothing. This brings us to the most painful question you have been asking in the dark. Why is God silent? The enemy wants you to believe the silence is punishment. He wants you to believe God has moved on to someone else who isn't as broken as you. But let me reframe this for you right now. Imagine a courtroom. When the trial is going on, there is noise. Lawyers arguing, witnesses speaking, evidence being presented. That was your life for the last few years. The noise of battle. But what happens when the judge has heard everything? What happens when the evidence has been fully weighed? The judge raises his hand, and the entire courtroom goes silent. It is not the silence of absence. It is the silence of the verdict. God is not ignoring you, chosen one. He is writing the decree. He is calculating the shalom. The reason you can't hear him right now is because he is not speaking to you. He is speaking to your situation. He is issuing commands to angels. He is signing release forms for resources. He is finalizing the paperwork for your promotion. The silence is heavy because the glory is heavy. You are mistaking the weight of the presence for the weight of depression. But there is a twist here. A massive misunderstanding that has kept you trapped in this cycle of exhaustion. You think this fatigue is because you have been enduring for too long. You think the test you just passed was a test of your patience. You think God was measuring how much pain you could take before you quit. You are wrong. God was not testing your endurance. He was not testing your patience. He was testing something far more dangerous. Something that, if you don't understand it right now, could cause you to lose everything you are about to receive. You have been operating under the assumption that this was an endurance test. For the last season, you have been waking up every single morning with one raw, unfiltered thought playing on a loop in your mind. You tell yourself, I just need to hold on for one more day. I just need to survive this week without breaking. You have been quoting James chapter 1 to yourself, letting patience have its perfect work, thinking that God was looking at a stopwatch. You thought the heavenly scorecard was measuring duration. You thought God was up there asking, how long can my servant stay in the fire without burning? How long can they go without money before they panic? How long can they endure betrayal without becoming bitter? You wore your pain like a badge of honor, thinking that the longer you suffered, the holier you were becoming. You convinced yourself that this was a marathon of misery, and your only job was to not collapse before the finish line. You looked at the story of Job and thought, this is me. I am being tested to see if I will stay faithful when everything is taken away. And because you framed it as an endurance test, you have been praying for relief. You have been praying for the finish line. But chosen one, that is the false summit. That is the surface-level understanding that keeps good people stuck in cycles of trauma. If God just wanted to test your endurance, he could have left you in the wilderness for 40 years. He could have let you stay in that toxic job until you retired. But he brought you to this breaking point for a specific reason. Hear me clearly. God was not checking your watch. He was checking your container. He was not testing your patience. He was testing your capacity. Think about Joseph in the book of Genesis. We love to say he waited 13 years. We focus on the time. But the prison wasn't designed to teach Joseph how to wait. The prison was a pressure cooker designed to expand his internal infrastructure. If Joseph had gone straight from his father's house to the palace of Pharaoh, the weight of Egypt would have crushed him. He had the favor, but he didn't have the capacity. The betrayal, the slavery, the false accusations, the years in the dungeon, they were not punishment, they were stretching exercises. God was literally stretching the skin of his spirit. God was asking a question that you didn't hear. While you were crying out, Why is this happening to me? God was whispering, can you hold this? If I pour $1 billion assignment into you, will you crack? If I pour generational influence into you, will your ego shatter? If I give you the platform today, will the criticism destroy you tomorrow? The pressure you felt wasn't trying to break you, it was trying to make you bigger. You didn't just survive the last season, chosen one. You expanded. You are not the same size you were 3 years ago. Your tolerance for pressure is higher. Your discernment is sharper. Your ability to handle spiritual voltage has increased. You are no longer a cup. You have been stretched into a reservoir. Feel the shift in your spirit right now. That slight shiver running down your spine. That is your spirit recognizing the truth. That is the resonance of revelation. You are realizing that the endurance test was just the tool God used to achieve the capacity goal. Endurance was the means, but capacity was the end. And this changes everything about what comes next. This is why the silence has been so heavy. If you were just a cup before, and God stretched you into a reservoir, then simple restoration is actually an insult. If God only gives you back what you lost, you would be half empty, because your capacity has grown. A cup of water cannot fill a bucket. The old blessing cannot fill the new you. And because you have proven your capacity, because you didn't crack under the pressure of expansion, God is preparing to activate a specific mechanism from the ancient Hebrew archives called Shalom. This is not restoration. This is not getting your ex back or getting your old job back. This is a kingdom economic concept that you have never heard before, and it is the only legal way for God to fill the massive space He just carved out inside of you. Let's go deeper into this, because most preachers stop at the word restoration. They quote Joel chapter 2 verse 25, where God says, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. And you hear that in English and think, okay, God is going to give me back what I lost. If I lost 5 years of my career, He will give me back 5 years. If I lost $10,000, He will give me back $10,000. But that is not what the text says. The Hebrew word used there is shalom, and shalom does not mean to simply return an item to its owner. Shalom is a legal term that means to make whole through restitution. In ancient law, if a thief stole something from you and was caught, the judge would not just order him to return the stolen item. The judge would order him to pay back double, sometimes fourfold, sometimes sevenfold. The penalty had to include the original value plus the interest of suffering. So when God says, I will shalom the years, He is not saying He will put you back where you were before the trial. That would be breaking even. God is saying He is going to aggressively overpay you for the time you spent in the trench. If the enemy stole 5 years of your joy, God is not giving you 5 years back. He is compressing 20 years of acceleration into your next 5 years. He is calculating the interest on your tears. This is why you feel that heaviness. It is the weight of the overflow accumulating above your head, waiting for the dam to break. But this brings us to a critical problem, and this is where most chosen ones fail. When that dam breaks and the shalom begins to pour into your life, whether it is financial increase, a sudden elevation in your career, or a relationship that moves fast, your natural instinct will be to consume it immediately. You have been starving in the wilderness for so long that when the manna falls, you want to eat it all at once. If you do that, you will destroy the very vessel God just spent years expanding. You need a strategy to manage the overflow. You need a protocol. I want you to use your imagination right now. Whether you are driving or lying in bed, I want you to visualize a blank whiteboard in your mind's eye. On this board, we are going to draw a mental diagram called the Stewardship Decision Tree. This is the framework you must use the moment the breakthrough arrives. The next time an unexpected blessing comes, maybe a check in the mail, a job offer, or a sudden opportunity, do not just say thank you and spend it. In your mind, run it through the first branch of the decision tree. Ask yourself, is this a test or a gift? Here is how you know. If the amount or the opportunity is exactly enough to solve your immediate crisis, it is likely a provision to get you to the next step. But if it is more than you need, if it is an overflow, it is a test. God is watching to see if you will raise your standard of living or if you will raise your standard of giving. Then move to the second branch of the tree in your mind. Ask yourself, what would the mature version of me do with this? Not the traumatized version of you that is afraid the money will run out. Not the survivor version of you that needs to buy things to feel safe. But the king version of you, the queen version of you, the version of you that knows this is just the first drop of rain. How would that version handle this resource? To help you answer that, you must apply the 72-hour rule. This is a non-negotiable spiritual discipline for this season. When the big news comes, when the contract arrives, when the money hits your account, you make a covenant with yourself right now that you will not touch it, you will not sign it, and you will not announce it for 72 hours. You literally look at the opportunity and say to yourself, stop. We are not rushing. We are not desperate. We are waiting for the emotions to settle so the spirit can speak. During those 72 hours, the dopamine hit will fade and your spiritual discernment will activate. You will hear the Holy Spirit whisper instructions that you would have missed in your excitement. He might tell you to sow a specific seed. He might tell you to save a specific percentage. He might tell you that the contract looks good, but there is a hook in clause 4. The 72-hour rule buys you the time to consult the king before you spend the king's resources. By using the stewardship decision tree and the 72-hour rule, you are telling heaven that your capacity has truly been built. You are proving that you are a reservoir, not just a drain. But I have to warn you. I have to be completely honest with you about what happens next. When you start operating in this level of wisdom, and when the shalom begins to pour down on your life in undeniable ways, a darkness will rise in your heart. It is a strange, cold shadow that you didn't expect. It is a fear that you dare not tell anyone, not even God, because it makes you feel ungrateful. It is the terrifying thought that maybe, just maybe, you aren't actually ready for the very thing you prayed for. Let's talk about that shadow. Let's pull it out into the light because silence is where it grows. I know exactly what is happening in your mind right now. You have spent years praying for this door to open. You have fasted for it. You have cried for it. But now that the handle is turning, now that the shalom is actually arriving, you don't feel ready. You feel like running away. There is a voice in the back of your head, a voice you would never speak out loud because you are afraid God would get angry at you. It whispers, "What if I am a fraud? What if I get into that position and everyone finds out I am broken? What if I ruin the blessing because I am not smart enough, or strong enough, or holy enough? What if I fail publicly this time instead of privately?" You look at the blessing coming toward you, and you don't see a gift. You see a spotlight, and spotlights expose flaws. You are thinking, "God, maybe you picked the wrong person. Maybe I should just stay in the background where it is safe." I need you to physically check in with your body right now. Notice your stomach. Is there a knot there? A tightness right in the center of your gut that feels like nausea? That is not sickness. That is your spirit reacting to the gravity of the assignment. And I want to reframe this for you immediately. That fear does not mean you are disqualified. That fear is the actual proof that you are ready. Think about it. Who are the people who crash and burn when they get promoted? It is the arrogant ones. It is the ones who run through the door shouting, "I deserve this." They have no fear because they have no understanding of the weight. But you? You are trembling. Your stomach is in knots. That tells me you respect the office you are walking into. Moses trembled. Jeremiah said, "I am just a child." Gideon hid in a winepress. The greatest generals in the kingdom always start with a holy terror of the assignment. Your fear is not a lack of faith. It is a braking system for your ego. God put that fear there to keep you dependent on Him. If you weren't scared, you wouldn't need God to hold you up. Let me prove this to you. I want to tell you about a chosen one I worked with about 14 months ago. Let's call him David. David had been stuck in a financial wilderness for 7 years. He was brilliant, but every door was shut. He prayed for a breakthrough every single day. Then, suddenly, the Shalom hit. A massive corporation offered him a vice president role that paid 10 times his previous salary. It was everything he prayed for. But the night before his first day, he called me in a panic. He said, "I can't go. I'm going to resign before I start. I'm going to throw up. I'm not a vice president. I'm just a guy who struggled to pay rent last month." I want you to zoom into the moment he walked into that building the next morning. Picture him standing in the hallway outside the boardroom. He is wearing a new suit that feels uncomfortable. His hand is reaching out to grab the door handle. The metal is cold against his palm. His heart is hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. He wants to turn around and run back to the elevator. He wants to go back to his old life because his old life was painful, but at least it was familiar. But he didn't run. He opened the door while his hand was shaking. He walked into that room with his stomach in knots. And do you know what happened? Because he was so afraid of failing, he was hyper-careful. He didn't rely on his own intelligence. He prayed over every email. He didn't act arrogant. He asked questions. He relied on the Holy Spirit for every single decision because he knew he couldn't do it alone. 6 months later, he wasn't just surviving in that role. He was reshaping the entire company culture. His fear didn't disqualify him. His fear made him excellent. The very thing he thought was his weakness, his feeling of being an imposter, became his greatest strength because it kept him on his knees. So, chosen one, I am speaking to that knot in your stomach right now. I am speaking to that voice telling you to run. You are safe. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. That trembling means you are sane. It means you understand the stakes. You are afraid of the blessing because you can feel how heavy it is. You are sensing something that your logical mind cannot explain. You feel a pressure pushing down on you that feels almost crushing. But I need you to lean in close for this next part, because you have misinterpreted the weight. You think it feels heavy because it is a burden. You think it feels heavy because it is a responsibility you have to carry alone. But that is not why your spirit is trembling. There is a physics to the spiritual realm that you have not been taught. The reason the blessing feels physically heavy on your head right now is not psychological. It is not emotional. It is the literal, physical nature of the thing God is placing upon you. You are feeling the density of a substance that the Bible describes in a way most people completely miss. You are feeling the density of a substance that the Bible describes in a way most people completely miss. Turn your attention to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 17. The Apostle Paul talks about a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. We read that verse and we gloss over the most important word. Wait. We have been conditioned to think of glory as light. We think of it as sunshine, sparkles, and fluffy clouds. We think that when the glory of God comes, we will feel light as a feather, floating on air. But that is a misconception. In the original Hebrew language of the Old Testament, the word for glory is kavod. And kavod does not mean shiny. Kavod literally means heavy. It implies something weighty, dense, and substantial. It is related to the word for the liver, the heaviest organ in the body. When the kavod of God filled the temple in the Old Testament, the priests could not stand up to minister. They hit the floor. Not because they were slain in the spirit, but because the atmosphere became physically too heavy for human flesh to remain upright. So, here is the revelation that changes everything. The heaviness you have been feeling for the last few weeks, that pressure on your chest, that exhaustion in your limbs, that feeling that gravity has turned up to level 10, is not depression. It is not spiritual warfare. It is not the enemy pressing you down. It is the kavod. You are feeling the crushing weight of God's glory settling upon your life. The reason it feels heavy is because it is real. The reason it feels intense is because God is trusting you with a level of influence and authority that requires spiritual density. He is not giving you a paper crown. He is giving you a crown of pure gold, and gold is heavy. Check in with your shoulders right now. Rotate your neck. Do you feel that tension in your trapezius muscles? Do you feel that ache right at the base of your skull? You have been treating that with Advil and massages, thinking it is stress. I am telling you right now, that is the muscle memory of your spirit adjusting to the weight of the crown. You are not being crushed. You are being coronated. This is the identity shift you must make right now. Up until this moment, you have identified as a survivor. You have identified as a warrior, and warriors are used to the mud. Warriors are used to fighting for every inch of ground. Warriors pray desperate prayers. Warriors beg for air support. But you are no longer just a warrior. You have graduated. The test you passed was the entrance exam for royalty. You are shifting from survivor to ruler. And rulers do not beg. Rulers do not ask God to please try to help if he can. Rulers decree. I want you to visualize yourself standing in front of a mirror. In your mind, look at the reflection. The person looking back at you is not the person who was crying on the bathroom floor 3 months ago. That person is gone. The person looking back at you is wearing the mantle of authority. Speak to that reflection in your mind. Say this: I am done begging for bread in my own father's house. I am done apologizing for my power. I am done shrinking back so other people feel comfortable. From this moment on, your prayer life changes. You stop asking God to open doors, and you start commanding doors to align with the will of God. You stop asking the enemy to leave you alone, and you start evicting him because you hold the title deed to your territory. The heavy feeling is not going away, chosen one. You are just going to get strong enough to carry it with grace. You are going to develop the neck muscles of a king, but you need to listen to me very carefully, because this promotion comes with a price tag that nobody talks about. When you were a soldier in the trenches, the enemy sent foot soldiers to fight you. The attacks were loud, messy, and obvious. But now that you are wearing the crown, the rules of engagement have completely shifted. The enemy is not going to send foot soldiers to fight a king. That would be a waste of his resources. When you step into the kavod, the enemy recalls the infantry, and he dispatches the assassins. The warfare you are about to face will not look like a battlefield. It will look like a dinner party, and if you don't know the new rules, you will be taken out before you ever sit on the throne. The moment the crown touches your spirit, the atmosphere of your warfare changes instantly. You need to download this intel right now, because if you walk into this next season fighting like a soldier, you will die like a king. When you were in the wilderness, the enemy sent foot soldiers. The attacks were loud. They were obvious. It was financial lack. It was screaming arguments. It was car breakdowns. It was mud and noise. You knew you were in a fight because you could see the blood. But the enemy is not stupid. He knows he cannot defeat a king with a stick. So he is recalling the infantry and he is dispatching the assassins. I want you to close your eyes for a second and shift the location in your mind. You are no longer on a muddy battlefield. You are now seated at a long mahogany table in a grand dining hall. The floors are marble. The music is soft. The people around you are dressed in expensive suits. They are smiling. They are raising a glass to toast your success. This is where the assassination happens. It doesn't happen with a sword. It happens with a poisoned chalice. It doesn't happen with a shout. It happens with a whisper. The people God is removing from your life right now are not leaving because they hate you. They are leaving because their clearance level is too low for the room you are entering. But the people the enemy is sending into your life are not coming to fight you. They are coming to flatter you. You need to write this down on the tablet of your heart. Here are the 7 forms of royal assassination that will be deployed against you in the next 40 days. The first form is the diplomatic trap. This will come looking like a compromise. Someone will come to you and say, "Hey, I see what you are building. It is amazing. But you know, if you just tone down the Jesus part a little bit, if you just soften the message, we can get you into these bigger venues. We can get you that sponsorship." It sounds like wisdom. It sounds like diplomacy. But it is a trap to strip you of your oil. The moment you compromise the message to get the platform, you lose the authority that sustains the platform. The second form is the false alliance. This is the parasite disguised as a partner. You will get a text message or an email that feels incredibly validating. It will say, "I have been watching you. You are a genius. We should collaborate. We should build together." Your ego will light up because finally, someone sees your value. But listen to the check in your spirit. Look at their eyes when they smile. Does the smile reach their eyes? Or is their mouth moving while their eyes remain cold and calculating? They are not there to add to your vision. They are there to siphon your momentum, to jumpstart their own dead engine. The third form is the character assassination. Since the enemy cannot touch your anointing, he will try to destroy your reputation. He will use whispers. He will use old friends who knew the broken version of you to spread rumors about the healed version of you. They will say, "Who does he think he is? I remember when he was a mess." Do not fight them. Do not lower yourself to address the rumors. Kings do not debate with peasants. Silence is your defense. The fourth form is the Trojan horse gift. You will be offered a gift, a loan, or a favor that seems too good to be true. But there are strings attached that are invisible to the naked eye. Once you accept the gift, you are beholden to the giver. You lose your sovereignty. The fifth form is the provocation. The enemy will send someone to deliberately disrespect you in public just to see if you will lose your cool. They want you to snap. They want you to react in flesh so they can record it and say, "Look, he is not a king, he is just an angry man." The sixth form is the distraction of good. This is the hardest one to spot. You will be offered opportunities that are good, but they are not God. They will fill your calendar with busy work, so you have no energy left for your kingdom assignment. You will be successful, but you will be exhausted and ineffective. And the seventh form is the Delilah spirit. This is an emotional or romantic connection that comes to soothe your loneliness, but is designed to cut your hair while you sleep. It creates a soul tie that drains your spiritual authority. So, how do you fight this? You cannot use your fists. You must use the weapon of discernment. Discernment is the ability to see the spirit behind the smile. It is the ability to read the energy of a text message and feel the manipulation dripping off the screen. You have to learn the power of the royal no. When these offers come, you don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to apologize. You look them in the eye and you say, "No, that does not align with my mandate." You need to become comfortable with being misunderstood. You need to become comfortable with people calling you arrogant because you won't let them waste your time. You are guarding the crown. But knowing the enemy is only half the battle. You can spot every assassin in the room, but if you have not properly seated yourself in the authority of the king, you are still vulnerable. There is a reason most chosen ones fall right after they get their breakthrough. It is because they skipped the installation process. There is a specific 3-day spiritual protocol that you must execute before you fully step into this new season. It is the difference between wearing a costume and wearing a uniform. If you skip this step, the crown will slip off your head the moment the first wind blows. Let me give you a concrete example of this so you can see exactly what the diplomatic trap looks like in real time. I watched a chosen one navigate this just 3 months ago. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah had been praying for funding for her kingdom business for 2 years. The drought was severe. She was down to her last dollar. Then, out of nowhere, a heavy hitter from the industry invited her to lunch. He was charismatic. He was powerful. He sat her down in a 5-star restaurant and slid a contract across the table. He said, "Sarah, I love your vision. I am ready to write the check for the full amount today." Her heart leaped. This was the shalom she had been praying for. But then came the hook. He smiled a smile that didn't reach his eyes and said, "There is just one small thing. We need to remove the spiritual language from your mission statement. We need to make it more inclusive. It's a small tweak for $1 million." In that moment, Sarah felt the check in her spirit. It wasn't a loud alarm. It was a quiet nausea in the pit of her stomach. The survivor in her screamed, "Sign the paper. You need the money." But the queen in her whispered, "If you sign this, you are selling your birthright for a bowl of soup." I want you to visualize the micro-action she took next, because this is the moment she won the war. She didn't argue. She didn't negotiate. She stood up, thanked him for the meal, and walked out. And as she sat in her car, shaking with adrenaline, she took out her phone, found his contact, and deleted it. She didn't just archive it, she deleted it. She blocked the access. 2 days later, a different investor called. No strings attached. Double the amount. Sarah passed the test because she recognized that the diplomatic trap was designed to strip her of her crown just before she took the throne. Now that you know how to defend your territory, you must execute the installation process. You cannot just drift into this new season. You must enter it with intention. I am giving you the 3-day coronation protocol. This is your homework for the next 72 hours. You do not need to move a muscle right now, but I want you to walk through these days in your mind so you are ready to execute. Day 1 is the silence. We call this the fast of words. The enemy tracks your location by the sound of your voice. For the next 24 hours, you are going to go dark. You will not announce your plans on social media. You will not call your friends to brag about what God is doing. you will seal your lips. In this silence, you are building spiritual pressure. You are containing the oil so it doesn't leak. Day 2 is the cleansing. This is an environmental detox. You cannot bring the clutter of a slave into the palace of a king. On day 2, you are going to go through your physical and digital space. You are going to throw out the receipts from your season of lack. You are going to delete the text threads with people who disrespected you. I want you to imagine the feeling of your room after this cleansing is done. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine walking into your space and the air feels lighter. It feels crisp. The heaviness of the past is gone, and there is a vacuum of purity waiting to be filled with glory. Feel that clean air filling your lungs right now. That is the atmosphere of day 2. Day 3 is the positioning. This is where you dress for the job you have, not the job you had. On day 3, even if you are working from home, even if you have nowhere to go, you will wake up and dress like the CEO of your life. You will fix your posture. You will speak with authority. You are signaling to the spirit realm that the vessel is ready to receive the outpouring. But before you can start day 1, there is a mental transaction we must make right here, right now. We need to burn the ships. In ancient warfare, when an army landed on enemy shores, the commander would burn their own ships. This sent a message to every soldier. There is no retreat. We win or we die. You have a ship waiting in the harbor of your mind. It is the ship that sails back to your old identity. It is the ship that sails back to being a victim, back to blaming others, back to the comfort of your trauma. As long as that ship is there, you will be tempted to retreat when the crown gets heavy. I want you to visualize yourself standing on a beach in your mind. Behind you is the new land God has given you. In front of you, floating on the water, is an old wooden ship. That ship contains your old pain, your old excuses, and the version of you that was addicted to struggle. I want you to look at that ship, and in your mind, I want you to light the match. Watch the flame catch the wood. Watch the fire spread. See the smoke rising up. Now, I want you to have a direct dialogue with the person standing on that burning ship. That is your old self, the survivor. Look them in the eye and say this in your spirit. I love you. You kept me alive. You fought hard. But you cannot come where I am going. You are not equipped for the throne. I release you to the ashes. Watch the ship sink. Watch it disappear under the water. The bridge is gone. The return trip is cancelled. You have no choice now but to succeed. You have no choice now but to rule. Take a deep breath. Do you feel that shift? That is the feeling of total commitment. Everything is ready. The protocol is set. The ships are burned. The assassins are identified. The shalom is calculated. The door to the throne room is standing wide open. The angels are standing at attention, holding the mantle that has your name stitched into the fabric. There is only one thing left to do. We need to seal this legal transaction in the courts of heaven. We need to lock this reality into your timeline so that no devil in hell can reverse it. This is not a prayer request. This is an activation ceremony. I need you to shift your posture. If you can sit up straighter, do it. If you can open your hands, do it. If you are driving, tighten your grip on the wheel and lock your focus. We are about to cross the threshold. We are about to cross the threshold. This is the moment where the teaching ends and the transformation begins. We are moving from the classroom to the throne room. I need you to shift your internal posture right now. If you are in a place where you can stand, stand up. But if you are driving, if you are lying down, or if you are in a public place, I want you to straighten your spiritual spine. In your mind, I want you to visualize yourself rising from the dust of the valley. Pull your shoulders back. Lift your chin. You are not approaching God today as a beggar asking for crumbs. You are approaching Him as an heir, stepping forward to receive your inheritance. Understand what is happening right now. The courts of heaven are in session. The angels assigned to your destiny are standing at attention, waiting for the decree to leave your mouth. We are not just saying words. We are signing legislation. We are legally ratifying the transition from survivor to ruler. Do not let your mind wander. Lock your focus on the sound of my voice. Let my words become your words. Let my spirit agree with your spirit. We are going to seal this work so that no devil in hell can reverse what has happened today. Visualize the crown of kavod, that heavy, weighty glory, hovering just above your head. It is time to bring it down. Receive this prayer. Father, in the mighty and matchless name of Yeshua, we step into the Holy of Holies. We bypass the outer courts. We bypass the noise of the world. We come directly to the seat of mercy, which has now become the seat of authority. I declare that the portals over this chosen one's life are wide open. I declare that the atmosphere is shifting from heavy oppression to heavy glory. Lord, we acknowledge the journey. We acknowledge the scars. I present to you this warrior who has stood in the trenches. You saw them when they cried in the car. You saw them when they felt abandoned by your silence. You saw the betrayal. You saw the lonely nights. You saw the moment they almost gave up, but chose to hold on for one more day. We do not hide the pain today. We honor it. We declare that every tear was a seed, and today is the harvest. We declare that the season of the wilderness is officially closed. The test of endurance is finished. The test of capacity is passed. And now, by the authority invested in me as your servant, I act as a witness to this coronation. I seal the revelation of Shalom over their life. I decree that the days of simple restoration are over. I command the portals of overpayment to open. I speak to the years that the locusts have eaten, the lost income, the lost relationships, the lost time, and I command them to return sevenfold. I command the interest to be paid. I declare a supernatural acceleration that defies the laws of economics. Where they walked for 10 years, they will now run in 10 months. I seal the revelation of Kavod. I bind the spirit of heaviness that feels like depression, and I loose the spirit of glory. I declare that their neck is strong enough to carry the weight. I declare that their character is dense enough to hold the influence. They will not crack under the pressure of the blessing. They will not crumble under the spotlight. I seal the wisdom of the stewardship decision tree in their mind. I bind the spirit of impulsive spending. I bind the spirit of sabotage. I release the spirit of strategy. I release the discipline of the 72-hour rule. I declare that when the resources come, they will not eat the seed, they will build the kingdom. And now, I turn my face against the enemies of this chosen one. I speak to the assassins that have been dispatched to steal this crown. I bind the diplomatic trap. I silence every tongue that tries to flatter them into compromise. I expose every false alliance. I burn every contract that has invisible strings. I declare that they will have the discernment to see the wolf in sheep's clothing. I bind the spirit of character assassination. Let every lie spoken against them fall to the ground and die. Let every rumor turn into a testimony. I declare that God is preparing a table before them in the presence of their enemies, and their cup shall run over. I bind the spirit of fear and imposter syndrome. You lying spirit, You have no place here. This chosen one is not a fraud. They are chosen, called, and appointed. I command the knot in their stomach to loosen and become a fire in their belly. I declare that the ships are burned, the past is dead, the old identity is buried, there is no going back. Chosen one, hear the word of the Lord. You are commissioned, you are authorized, you are dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. I place the mantle of leadership upon your shoulders. I declare that your voice will carry weight in the spirit realm. When you speak, demons will tremble. When you pray, heaven will move. You are no longer fighting for victory. You are fighting from victory. The crown is on your head. The keys are in your hand. The heavy weight you feel is the anchor of your authority. Now, take a deep breath. Inhale the reality of this new season. Hold it. And as you exhale, release the last remnant of the victim mindset. Let it go. Do not say Amen yet. Sit in this silence for a moment. Feel the electricity running down your spine. That is the seal of the Holy Spirit. The court is adjourned. The verdict is written. The crown is secured. Go and rule in the midst of your enemies. You are dismissed.